And welcome back to Prophecy Who Would Win. That's the next video I'm doing. Welcome back to Pokemon Team videos. This one comes to us from Daniel F and CJM, who asked the question, what is Johnny Blaze's, the Ghost Riders Pokemon team? And let me tell you what, folks. Take the My Little Ponies out of the equation. This might have been one of the most difficult Pokemon teams for me to put together. And the problem with it, and the reason for that is, when you look at the character of Johnny Blaze / the Ghost Rider, you're like, okay, Johnny Blaze, he's generally like a pretty, like he's a stuntman, although there's not much to Johnny personality-wise that would stand up for a Pokemon team. And then you have the Ghost Rider, who is a fallen, corrupted angel of justice turned into an evil spirit of vengeance. That is a flaming skeleton of doom, death, and punishment. Like, it was legitimately hard to figure out a team for this character. But with my amazing skill as a creator, but my knowledge of Pokemon and of the comic community, I think I have created the comprehensive, definitive, subjective team for Ghost Rider. Obviously, this is all my personal opinion. I have no doubt. I do not belittle anyone or disparage anyone for disagreeing. But with that said, let's actually get into it. So, one of the key aspects of Ghost Rider is the fact that he is actually a different person. The Ghost Rider and Johnny Blaze are two different individuals. So, in my head, I'm like, okay, is there a Pokemon that changes forms or anything like that that can truly represent the Ghost Rider, the Rider coming out? And very quickly, I'm like, no, there is not. There is no Pokemon that actually transforms in a way like this. The closest we have is probably Mega Evolution. But, that said, I was able to kind of get a Pokemon that, in a way, kind of works. So, there's this little Pokemon from Gen 8 called Morpeko, the Pikachu clone of the region, which is basically a hamster guinea pig thing that has pockets, that has berries, and if it gets hungry enough, it will turn into its hangry form, which, is just purple, angry version that can use a move called Aura Sphere. Now, that is not exactly the same as what Ghost Rider does. But from a Pokemon standpoint, it is not dissimilar. Add on the fact that because it has pockets, that acts like a jacket. Johnny wears a jacket. That one I'm admittedly stretching for, but I did just figure that out now. So I'm like, that's kind of a way to go about it. Plus, electricity and fire are actually two variations of the same substance, plasma. One has got different protons, electrons, all that, and the other is different in terms of fire. But they are actually they are the same element, state of matter, I should say, but in different forms. If that adds up. So Morpeko. Plus, I can see Johnny when he's not being Ghost Rider. This is the Pokemon. This is his Pikachu. This is the one who stays out of the Pokeball and hangs out with him, rides on his bike, all that. Should point out, by the way, there is no motorcycle Pokemon. There's nothing. There's bikers in the Pokemon world that use plenty of different Pokemon, but there's no Pokemon that is the true defined Pokemon for a biker. Just doesn't exist yet. Likewise with Morpeko, I did want to try to find some other Pokemon that could represent the transformation into Ghost Rider. Unfortunately, that proved to be a lot more difficult, a lot easier said than done. Ultimately, I went with Charizard X. Honestly, the only real reason for that is the fact that it's a Mega Evolution, a Fire type, and the Blue Flames are kind of, spiritual, ghostly kind of style, even though it's a Dragon Fire and Blue Fire is just stronger than normal Fire. That was the last one. That was the one I struggled putting on the team. Is there anything to represent this? God damn it. The thing about Johnny, though, ultimately, is the fact that when he's Ghost Rider, he is a flaming skeleton of vengeance. So it makes sense that a good chunk of his team is going to have fire types, most likely. Now, before we get to that, though, there is one aspect of Ghost Rider that I did want to pull from, and that is the fact that Ghost Rider isn't just someone who, can burn 1,000 souls, is the spirit of vengeance. He also eats souls, too. And we do have it on record that there are Pokemon, especially Ghost-type Pokemon, that do feed on the souls of other Pokemon or people. So I'm like, okay, all right, this one I can do something with. What Pokemon can I use to represent that? when it came to the soul-eating aspect of Ghost Rider, I went with Dust Noir. A, it's a kind of a Grim Reaper Pokemon, so that kind of works. But B, it evolves from both Duskull and Dusclops, which have skulls. It's weird, when going through Pokemon in general, there actually are no skeletal Pokemon. Like, there's no Pokemon that's like a walking skeleton of sorts, or a possessed skeleton. Plenty of fan-made Pokemon that are like that, but no... when you really look at it, the closest I could have found was maybe Houndoom or Houndoom, Mega Houndoom particularly. Otherwise, the fossil Pokemon start out as a fossil, which is a bone turned into a rock, but when you bring them back, they're no longer skeletal. So those don't count. I'm trying to just think of any Pokemon that kind of is a skeleton, and unless someone can like point something out to me that I'm missing, I can't think of anything that is actually a skeleton. Now, luckily, Duskull, Dusclops both have skulls in them, so that works, and Dust Noir is the final evolution, and it's said to usher souls away, so I do like the idea of this Pokemon on the team. But now I get into the final bit of it, where it's basically the fire portion of the show. I gave you a little sneak peek with the Charizard, but there we go. So the first fire type I really had on the team was Alola Marowak. It's a Ghost Fire, and spoilers, there's another Ghost Fire type on the team coming up. But it's a Ghost Fire, which works perfectly well with the idea of Ghost Rider. B, it is a Marowak, which we know the Cubone Marowak line deals a lot with the pain of the death of the mother of the Cubone. And it makes sense that you could use this as a logic to go into the whole vengeance aspect. Add on to the fact that it does wield a fire weapon. Its Bone Club turns into a spitting fire stick, which can, I guess, be referenced to either his chain, which I really don't think so, or the fact that any mount he takes becomes the rider's mount, which becomes fired. Or flamed up. But either way, Marowak I felt like was the obvious choice to be on this team. The other choice that is a Ghost Fire type on the team, which I never thought I'd actually get a chance to use on here, but we have Hisuian Typhlosion. Now, first off, that is a much better image than the model in the game. See, I went with Rowlet, and I think I made the right choice. Rowlet's decision-wise awesome. But yeah, I mean, am I wrong here? Let me know if I'm wrong. But this model looks a lot better. This Typhlosion looks a lot better than what we get in the game. And I think, honestly, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger too, hold on. Yeah, I think, honestly, it's the eyes. In the game, the eyes make him look like, almost like Eeyore. Like, I heard people use that comparison, like Eeyore. Here, it looks actually almost feminine. Which, I like that. I think the design here looks a lot better than this game. Regardless, I went with Typhlosion, A, because it's cool to use the Hisuian forms when you can, but B, also, it kind of goes a bit with the look of Ghost Rider. The idea of these flames, these ghostly flames come out from its head or around its neck, and it can use Ghost Fire in its attack. That's really more the only other reason. It's a Ghost type, Fire type, and it has a bit of an appearance thing. The last Pokemon on team, though, is again a Fire type, and again is a bit more of an aesthetic appeal, but there was another reason for that, and that is because if you're talking about a team involved for Ghost Rider, you have to have some sort of Pokemon that knows a move that's equivalent to his signature move, the Penance Stare. Now, unfortunately, there is no Penance Stare equivalent in Pokemon, best I can find. Because the way the Penance Stare works is basically you stare into your opponent's soul. You take all the pain they have ever inflicted on anyone ever back on them. And it doesn't, and in theory, it can even wipe out their soul if they've inflicted enough damage onto someone. Like enough pain in their entire lives. Like, it had immense power over Galactus when he used it in the, I think it was the Hulk cartoon or something like that, or Fantastic Four cartoon. Yeah, he kind of laid waste to Galactus. Like, this guy, the Ghost Rider can literally do this to just about anyone, with some mild exceptions. It does not seem to work on aliens. It does not work on someone with a soul. If someone is justifying their actions like the Hulk, that when in World War Hulk, you're like, yeah, nope, he's justified. And if you're like Thanos and you just get off on pain, then that doesn't do anything. But overall, against any other someone who doesn't have any of those things, then it wields tremendous power. So the problem here is there's no real Pokemon equivalent move to that. That said, though, there is a move called Punishment. Now, I can't actually remember what Punishment does right off the top of my head, but its name says it all. The name is Punishment, which is what the Penance Stare ultimately is. So I'm like, okay, cool. This I can work with. What Pokemon learned this move? And luckily, there was a Fire type that learned this move that when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, this kind of works. Infernape. Infernape kind of makes these teams a lot because he works on so many different levels for so many different reasons on different teams. But Infernape, a Fire type, fire comes straight out of his head, all right. And the fact that he can learn the move Punishment works to his favor. So that, in my humble opinion, is the Pokemon team of the Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze. We have Morpeko and Charizard to represent the transformation into Ghost Rider. We have Marowak, Hisuian Typhlosion, and Infernape to represent the Hellfire, the Ghost Rider attributes, and the Penance Stare. And then we have Dust Noir to represent the soul-eating aspects, or the fact that he's capable of eating souls of Ghost Rider. So this is, we want to go one more above. There we go. Ghost Rider's Pokemon team. But this is just my opinion. What do you think of this team? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? What would your team for Ghost Rider look like if you do disagree with it? And if you do, that's cool. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will see you folks for the next one. I'm got to pre-record my Who Would Win and my What If for tomorrow. And I'm right now just waiting also on the box office to update. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.